You know, every once in a while, something comes along in tech that doesn't just take a small step forward. It takes a giant leap. It completely changes the rules of the game. Well, today we're going to dive into a story exactly like that, coming straight out of the world of Web3. It's about a breakthrough that's really setting a whole new bar for the entire industry. Yep, it looks like in this incredibly complex, super competitive race to build the next version of the internet, a new standard for what's even possible has just been established. All right, so where does this story begin? It actually all starts with an award. And I know what you're probably thinking. An award? Big deal, right? They hand those things out all the time. But trust me, this one is different. It's really turning heads and making some serious waves in the Web3 space. So here are the details. At the Finance Feeds Awards for 2025, a project called Apertum snagged the title of Most Innovative Layer 1 Blockchain of the Year. And look, this is way more than just a nice trophy or a pat on the back. This is a huge deal. It's recognition for actually solving some of the gnarliest problems in crypto. We're talking speed, we're talking scale, and, get this, doing it all with a totally community-driven mindset. This award basically shouts that Apertum isn't just another player in the game. Nope, it's rewriting the rulebook. Okay, but to really get why this is so important, we gotta back up a little bit. We need to talk about the fundamental challenge, the one problem that every single blockchain out there is trying to solve. This is like the bedrock of the entire Web3 world. And that brings us to layer ones. So what is a layer one? The easiest way to think about it is like the operating system of a computer, but for the decentralized web. It's the Windows or the Mac OS for Web3. It's that foundational layer where everything else gets built. DeFi apps, digital economies, all of it. So yeah, getting this layer right is absolutely crucial. No pressure, right? And this is where things get really tricky. It leads us to what everyone in the space calls the blockchain trilemma. It's this famous or maybe infamous puzzle. See, you want your blockchain to have three things. You want it to be super fast, you want it to be able to handle millions or even billions of users, that's scalability, and you want it to be truly decentralized, with no single person in control. The problem? For years, the rule has been pick any two. You just couldn't have all three. It's kind of like that old saying, fast, cheap, or good, pick two. You've always had to make a sacrifice somewhere. And this is exactly where Apertum comes into the picture, because their whole reason for being, their entire mission, is to challenge that old rule. They're basically asking the question, what if you don't have to compromise? What if you actually can have it all? So what is Apertum, really? Well, at its core, it's a super high-performance layer one. But here's the clever part. It's built as something called an avalanche subnet. Now, what does that mean? Think of it like this. Avalanche is the big, secure main highway. Apertum built its own specialized high-speed express lane that's directly connected to it. So it gets all the security from the main highway, but it gets to focus purely on speed. And this part is huge. It's fully EVM-compatible. That's a fancy term that just means it speaks the same language as Ethereum. For developers, this is a game changer. It means they can move their apps over to Apertum without a headache. It just works. Okay, let's get into the numbers, because this is where it gets wild. We're talking raw performance here. Arbitrum can process over 4,500 transactions per second. 4,500 TPS. To give you some context, that's getting into the same league as Visa or MasterCard. It's worlds faster than a lot of the older blockchains. And this isn't just some number on a white paper. This is the real deal. This is the kind of speed you absolutely need if you want to handle millions of people using your network at once. But look, raw speed, that's only part of the equation. The other critical piece is what we call finality. That's basically the moment you know for sure that your transaction is done. It's final, it's irreversible. On Apertum, that happens in less than a second and a half. Think about what that means for you, Aussie user. It means no more of that nervous waiting, staring at a loading screen. Click, done. It feels instant. It feels seamless, just like the apps you use every day. So what's the fuel for this engine? It's the APTM token. And they've built a really interesting economic model around it. It's deflationary. Here's how it works. For every transaction on the network, a portion of the fee, up to half of it, is basically taken out of the system forever. It's burned. The logic is pretty straightforward. The more people use the network, the more tokens get burned, and the scarcer the remaining tokens become. It's a system designed to reward the entire ecosystem as it grows. Okay, so the tech is clearly impressive. It's fast, it's efficient, but that's only half the story, right? The real question is anyone actually using it? Well, the numbers here tell a pretty amazing story, and it's all about community. Now, this next part, this might be the most mind-blowing thing about Apertum. Its growth has been 100% organic. I'm talking $0 from venture capitalists, no big institutional checks, nothing. This is a project that was built from the ground up purely by its community of users and builders. In today's world, where you hear about these massive billion-dollar funding rounds all the time, that is almost unheard of. It's incredible. And believe me, that community has not been sitting on its hands. In just the first 2 quarters, the first 6 months, the network processed over 3 million transactions. So let's be clear, this is not some empty ghost chain. This is a living, breathing, bustling ecosystem with real people doing real things.
And remember that deflationary token model we talked about a minute ago? Well, here's the proof in the pudding. All that network activity has resulted in more than $3.5 million worth of APTM tokens being burned. Just gone, permanently removed, all from those little transaction fees.
So, what does all of this add up to? You add up all that activity, and you get a total ecosystem value of over $30 million. And I'm going to say it again, because it's so important. All of that was generated organically. This really shows that there's another way to build things in this space. A powerful model for growth that's driven by people, not by venture capital.
And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. Let's go back to the award itself. Nikolai Isayev, the editor-in-chief at Finance Feeds, he put it perfectly. He said Apertum stood out because it's a perfect example of how you can combine, quote, technical excellence with community-driven growth. It's a model for solving those really tough, long-standing challenges we were just discussing. And all of that organic success is starting to snowball into some serious mainstream recognition. We're talking about being recognized by the major crypto research firm Messari. It's now fully integrated on CoinMarketCap, which gets, 340 million visitors a month? And the APTM token is now listed on major exchanges, opening it up to over 80 million users. This grassroots thing, it's officially going global. Okay, so let's pull back and look at the big picture for a second. Why are we talking about this? Why does one award for one blockchain actually matter for the future of Web3? What's the real takeaway? It's because this story is bigger than just Apertum. This is a signal, a massive signal to the entire industry. It's living proof that a whole new standard for how we build this stuff, this decentralized infrastructure, isn't just some dream for the future. It's possible, and it's happening right now. When we look at that bigger picture, I think there are 3 huge takeaways. First, Apertum is setting a brand new bar for performance. This is the new standard we should expect from Layer 1s. Second, it's a massive validation for the whole subnet idea on Avalanche. It shows this is a really smart way to build specialized, super-fast blockchains. And third, and maybe most importantly, it proves that innovation isn't just about raw speed. It's about giving developers amazing tools, like their contracts wizard, that make it ridiculously easy for people to actually build cool stuff. And all of this leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. In a space that's so often dominated by huge venture capital funds and top-down projects, the story of Apertum makes you wonder, is this the way? Is this bottom-up, community-first approach the real key to finally building the truly decentralized internet we've all been talking about? Now that is something to think about.